Ex-cop Sean Grayson was just convicted of second-degree murder on Sonya Massey. I don't know if the jury necessarily got it right. Stick around to the end, because I think what's really going on in America right now, especially since the advent of social media and the irresponsible side of law enforcement never being held accountable, we're going to see what I'm going to refer to as the Grady Judd effect of policing come into play, where jurors are going to deliberate beyond what the prosecution and the defense pose as either self-defense, righteous, lawful, justified, or whatever. And I think police shootings are going to go into a whole new dark era. For better or worse, they should be far more held accountable. But I think today, with this verdict that was just given out, I think we're looking at a new era of scrutiny on law enforcement shootings, and it's far overdue. We're going to reevaluate the body camera footage from one angle. And we're going to talk about the fact that the jury deliberated and they came to terms that it was a second-degree murder charge that was warranted simply because there was justification in their perception that Grayson could say this was a self-defense circumstance. We need to talk about that. We need to highlight and discuss the differences between second-degree murder and first-degree murder in Illinois. And we also need to talk about how is it, right? We know as law enforcement that we're trained. If you ever get involved in the shooting, you need to say, I need to go to the hospital. The first thing is you ask to talk to no one. You tell your immediate supervisor, I want to go to the hospital. You don't sign anything. You don't talk to anything. You wait for your union rep or your lawyer to show up, and you don't. But then again, that's always been my thing, right? Is we have, from the public's point of view, well, if you're innocent, you've got nothing to hide, talk to the police. But when it comes to cops, we know specifically they are trained immediately. Say nothing, shut your mouth, go to the hospital, end of story. I get that. In this context, in this breakdown, this is not going to be a good day for law enforcement, and maybe it should come to this. We have to look at the shooting itself, where you are when you say I was terrified for my safety. Can you continue to use that excuse? Does the public support that? And what is intent behind what you choose to do when you shoot? So let's break down the statutes that differ between first degree and second degree murder in the state of Illinois. We have to go over the statutes because there is so much to unpack here about juries deliberating on a police shooting. And I think that the way that social media specifically is going to change the perception of the public's view for worse. For those of you who are in law enforcement, it's going to be a bad day for cops. And we're going to stick around because I wish to God some of you paid attention to the rhetoric online and condemned it in support of what you do lawfully and justifiably. We have to look at first and second degree murder and what the statutes are in the state of Illinois, right? We go to the 720 ILCS, Illinois compiled statutes, first degree murder charge. And section A, a person who kills an individual without lawful justification commits first degree murder if in performing the acts which cause the death to be one, he or she intends to kill or do great bodily harm. So you have the first part of it, right? Just because you kill someone without lawful justification doesn't mean you commit first degree murder. God forbid you get into a car accident and you ram into somebody. Well, it's not a lawful act. You sped, you broke the law. It wasn't your intent to do that. If the resulting person dies, that's not first degree murder. It could be negligent homicide, but there's no intent behind it. And you know that prosecutors are going to argue as much as possible that your reckless behavior, it's what caused it. So you did intend, because no sane human being on this planet would ever drive 50 miles an hour one way, the wrong way down a one-way street while going in reverse. Therefore, your intent was to do it, right? They always have to find it. And as I talk about these things, if you're in law enforcement, you need to pay attention, because these things can all be applied to you. Just because you had lawful justification to be on a scene, lawful justification to use force, all of this doesn't mean that you can't be picked apart, scrutinized the exact same way that the law does as citizens to get a jury to convict you of murder. Or number two, he or she knows that the act that such acts create strong possibility of death or great bodily harm to that individual or another. We're going to go with those two, because when we switch over to second-degree murder, which is the charge. So again, you commit first-degree murder if your actions result in somebody's death and you knew about it unlawfully. You knew that coming home, you stabbing the shit out of your wife who's been cheating on you with your neighbor, you stabbing him 5 times, that there's a high possibility of him dying, first-degree murder. That's where they go with the premeditated attack, right? You knew it could result in his death. Second-degree murder, according to 720 ILCS, Illinois Compiled Statutes 5/9-2, a person commits the offense of second-degree murder when he or she commits the offense of first-degree murder, so somebody dies at the result of their hands as a first-degree murder, as defined in paragraph 1 or 2. So you go in, you stabbed your wife's lover 5 times, or you drove into a car and killed that other car, and either of the following mitigation factors are present. So there's caveats to this. Number 1, at the time of the killing, he or she is acting under a sudden, intense passion resulting from serious provocation by the individual killed or another from who the offender endeavors to kill. And there's more to it. We'll come back to this because this is what the jury deliberated on to come to this verdict. But he or she negligently or accidentally causes the individual killed. Crime of passion. You didn't know that your wife has been jocking the neighbor. You come home, you see it firsthand. You just happen to grab out of instinct and reflex the Louisville Slugger that is by the nightstand, and you go ahead and you bury Bonds off his head. Well, any reasonable person would know that that's going to cause great bodily harm or death. But at the time, you were acting solely out of this instinct from almost like a knee-jerk reaction, crime of passion. They fit this for the second-degree murder conviction that Grayson received because they claimed there was an element of self-defense in how he was acting. I'm going to argue that the jury got it 100% wrong, and they covered the cop's ass on this. But if this continues to go this route with more content like this showing how police are, it's not going to be good for cops at all. Now, we're going to come back to the application of use of force and whether or not they fit the statute of second-degree murder and why I think it actually fits first-degree murder. And there's going to be a lot of damning, compelling evidence on a social scale for you cops not to just get your spidey sense up going, man, I need to think more. Now, here's the deal. Shooting people is a necessary part of law enforcement. It's something that has to happen until they come up and perfect with a Star Trek phaser that stuns people 100% of the time. It's not going to change. So that technology needs to come out. The mindset behind law enforcement shooting is to terminate life-threatening behavior. I can't stress that enough, and I hope you write this down because we're going to approach this later on with what I call the Grady Judd effect. Your job is not to kill people. I've argued with people about this for years. If, little Johnny is running down the street with a baseball bat after getting drunk in a bar, and little Johnny starts swinging it at people's heads, my job isn't to kill little Johnny because that's dishing out punishment. That's the court's job. But you got to stop him. Correct. That's my job. No matter how much of a scumbag little Johnny is, he's drunk. He does this every weekend. My job is to stop little Johnny's behavior. And instead of being stupid enough by going to a taser or a baton or hands-on, I'm going to utilize my pistol to put as many rounds into Johnny until that behavior has ceased. That's it. The point of using deadly force on a subject is to terminate life-threatening behavior, not to terminate life. You need to hold on that. So let's talk about this from the beginning. Why would Grayson shoot her in the first place? What justification did he have to be there? Well, as we all saw the body camera footage, Grayson was there simply because Massey called 911. If you watch it, she had called about, I believe, a prowler, something in the area, whatnot. She, from the beginning, when you talk and listen to her, she's what we use 10 codes in Illinois, 1096. Crazy subject, right? Fucking loony is what it is. And that's not a disrespect to her. That's just how shit is. And we all know how they are. They're almost regulars in the town. We know that we've had contact with them before. Normally what happens when you work for a police agency and there's the subjects who are there that are like the town's 1096 subjects, the senior officers let the new people know, hey, over here at 1428 Maple, that's where so-and-so lives. And, you know, they're just to let you know, they're 1096. If you go there, you know, we've never had a problem with them, but you're going to hear about black helicopters flying around, or they've got papers that JFK secretly sent to them. They know this. So I don't know if that Grayson had this information at the time, but a seasoned cop would pick that up almost immediately. Hell, a normal, rational person would. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to condemn Grayson's past, right? I'm not going to condemn that he was bounced from 6 different departments in a very short amount of time. He got into a high-speed pursuit and wrecked the squad car out at 100 miles an hour. There is information, I believe, in some type of disciplinary file that he leveraged his position as a cop, apparently, to bully somebody who was going after his family members or whatnot. None of that truly matters. And I really want to kind of hit this home when it comes down to those who are condemning the police, because use of force is in the moment. Graham v. Connor simply states, what information does the officer have at the time, the totality of the circumstances, and we base it off of that, right? So I don't care, to be honest. I'm not going to condemn Grayson for his past. He could have been a phenomenal marksman. He could have had 100 different awards for the departments. I don't know. I don't want to look at the negative unless I can also support with the positive. So we're going to remove all of that. But he makes contact with Massey, and we need to review what happened.
So what'd you hear?
Somebody keeps outside my house, y'all. Please,
is this your car over here?
Please, God, please, God, please.
Is this your car over here? Oh.
Please, God.
That's not your black car in the driveway? Oh, well, we checked your yard. We walked around the whole block. We didn't see anybody. We don't. We checked the whole area. There's nobody out walking around.
I know, y'all. Please, God, please, God. I'm trying to get help, y'all, but
What do you need help with?
nothing. Please, God, please, God, please. I don't know what to do.
Do with what?
Huh?
What do you need help with?
Nothing. I just wanted to see if I could help me.
What do you want help with?
Huh?
What do you want help with?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards. We checked your front yard.
We didn't see nobody.
Yeah,
So
nobody's out here.
You didn't.
Couple other things I want to talk about when it comes down to this. Something you're seeing more and more lately is officer-induced jeopardy. Now, officer-induced jeopardy is simply cops putting themselves in a position to having use of force. It's the shooting at a fleeing vehicle, right? Well, the vehicle was coming right towards me, so I had to shoot and kill the driver. But then the driver, now being dead and the car having no control of it, the car ran into a family of 5 and killed a bunch of different people. Well, officer, you put yourself in the path of that car in order to get shot. But if I didn't, they would have driven off. But I get it. When we look at the mindset of police, they're trained. It's how it is. Dogs, go find a bone. I can't fault it because I was a part of it. You know, we used to go to calls, assist rescue calls. And when we went to those calls, it was very, very, very common. Our job was just to stand by to see if medical personnel needed anything. You need another set of arms here to put the person on a stretcher. You need us to hold the door. Can we carry your bags of equipment back while you're escorting this person into the ambulance? It's all it's there for. It's not how it works. We used to sit there, look around, look for things in plain view. Oh, trouble breathing call. You show up and there's a person ODing. You got to look around. Well, they did change that in Illinois where you can't arrest anybody in plain view if you show up and there's a pile of fucking, weed on the table and they're having a panic attack. They called 911 in good faith because that was designed to prevent people from calling 911 for medical help. But we still did. We used to go to every call. Hey, you called about your mom having trouble breathing? Awesome. Do you have your ID on you by chance? We did it so that we would see if you had warrants. The point being is, cops are always dogs looking for that bone. So I reviewed this body camera footage before. Was there any need to continue this call for service? No, there really wasn't, unless you wanted to put the homeowner at risk. They got called there. There was a noise. There's a vehicle on the driveway that isn't theirs. I can create a nexus from the time they're called to getting into the home very easy. Well, if she heard a noise, if there's a car that she doesn't know that registered on the driveway and she's not answering to me, Miss Massey, do you mind if I check your residence to make sure nobody broke in to the back room through the window and they're hiding in your bed? Is that okay? Do you mind? There's always a way to get in the house. But is that also creating that officer-induced jeopardy where those cops are now putting themselves in a position to have to use force as they escalate things to look for a crime? Yeah, we get in your home because, hey, I got this Publisher Clearinghouse instant $5 million lotto thing, and I don't know if I won this. Can you read this? And as I'm reading it, I see those are guns that are in plain view. Well, you're allowed to have guns, Second Amendment. Hey, those do you have a Floyd card? Those guns registered? I'm going to create crimes based on my observations as a cop because I know the law better than you, and I can manufacture anything in order to put the handcuffs on you. I've told this a million times. I know I'm getting long-winded on this point, but it serves a purpose for intent, putting yourself in the position to have used force. The Illinois Vehicle Code, for example, is designed so the second you turn your key, I can find any reason to pull you over. That's what laws have done. Laws have put the position of the citizen to be arrested for anything if the cop knows the law better than they do. But now we have to look at, they went into her home. Why are they in there? Did Grayson put himself in harm's way? That's my first question.
See anybody?
Nope.
No.
Check the whole area.
Okay.
What took you so long to answer the door?
Oh, I was trying to put on some clothes, sir. I'm sorry. I was trying to get
I got you. All right.
Sorry.
Is there anything else we can do for you?
Huh?
Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, sir.
So right now, Grayson has every lawful reason to leave. Close out the code, go 10-8, go back in service. It's July 6th in Illinois. It's busy. People are all going to be blowing off fireworks 2 days after the holiday. It's going to be that way. But now I know a lot of people were bringing up at trial his bullying past. And you can hear he's talking down to people. I don't care. That's a moot point. But is he looking to put himself in a position to use force? I got a lot of heat on social media the other day saying that cops are looking to go hands-on. Cops are looking to get involved in shootings. Cops are looking to get involved in vehicle chases. Just spoke to Mike from Copville last night. We were talking about Georgia State Patrol that I bet they're backlogged with candidates trying to come in because they're one of the few agencies that allows pit maneuvers. Well, why would you not? If you're a cop, why would you not go for an agency that purposely allows you to crash a vehicle if they just don't use a turn signal and pull over? You want it. You want that action. So is it potential? I would argue that Officer Grayson on this night, he's got no reports to do. There hasn't been a call for action in months since he's been on the department. He's an adrenaline junkie, and all of a sudden, Massey's an opportunity. She's an opportunity for him to get his fix. He has every reason to go and clear the call, but he chooses to go inside instead to create more issues.
All right. You doing all right mentally?
Yes.
Sure?
My medicine and stuff.
All right. Okay.
I love y'all. Thank y'all.
All right. That's not your black car, though. The SUV? Whose is it? You don't know? Someone just parked it in your driveway?
They brought it to my driveway.
And just left it?
Yeah, let's run that.
Yeah.
Again, remember, I tell you as the citizens, don't open your mouth towards cops. We have to look at everything building up towards the intent, right? Did Grayson have intent to shoot and kill Massey? At this point, what is he there for? This is the question you need to start asking. I know a lot of people, as far as what the prosecution and the jury were, or the prosecution and the defense were arguing, was how could Grayson be terrified of her? She's a foot shorter than her. He outweighs her by 100 pounds. He's not afraid of her. This is going to start fitting first-degree murder instead of second-degree murder, because if there's no self-defense issue, what is he putting himself in the line of fire? Here's the vehicle speeding towards you. What did he step in front of her for?
It's already here.
I told you in this case, we're going to start looking for stuff, right? We're going to start looking for the guns, the drugs, the missing children, all this stuff, the people hiding in the closet. We're going to use plain view to look around to extend our reason to be in this home. In that case, that means if we can find a crime that you then can offer resistance, we can use force on you. So if I'm prosecution for this case, my argument would initially be the case was done. The call was coded out. Sonya doesn't have to tell them where the car comes. The car is parked on private property. She didn't say, to my knowledge, I want this car removed. If you want it removed, that's your responsibility. You have to call the tow company. For them to run a plate on private property is not illegal, but what are they further investigating? Because if they're further investigating it, that's intent. What is their intent? Their intent is to continue this investigation on the off chance that eventually Sonya does resist and they got to go hands-on. Maybe he didn't intend to shoot her, but maybe he wanted to just throw her around a little bit, put the handcuffs in, get his fix, pad his stat for a resisting arrest charge so it makes it look like he's doing well on his daily performance evaluations. I don't know. We can't speak to the mind of what Grayson was thinking, but we can put a stream, a nexus together of red threads that say, you didn't have to be there anymore. You extended the call. You got your way in. He starts to ask her for her identification. She doesn't need to provide the identification. Citizens don't know that. He is heightening up her defense because she's got two grown men in the home. If she goes to the stove, of which we're going to see, I don't think her intent was to use it. She is the one. Massey is the one who's entitled to self-defense, not Grayson.
Okay.
I want to throw in that if Grayson was truly in fear for his safety, if I'm the prosecution, I'm going to say, why is it?
Was there any damage previous to your car?
Previous, yeah, it was.
Okay, what was the damage?
First thing I would do if I'm prosecuting Grayson, say if he's fear for his safety, which is what the defense is contending, why is it that he allowed her to sit on a couch without searching the couch cushions first? Ma'am, I have to check the couch cushions, make sure you have no bazookas in there, no giant machetes in there, no samurai swords in there. We do not let people sit on couches without checking them for weapons first. So I believe the defense's argument and the jury's findings that there was self-defense element in this is not warranted because at no time was a Grayson in fear for his safety.
A dent, I believe.
Well, what about windows?
Oh, it was something that happened earlier.
Okay, perfect. What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to attach.
Massey.
Huh?
Massey.
Do you have an ID? That'd make things so much easier. I just
He's not unpolite either. I get the frustration because I've been in these several times. It's hot in Illinois. It's humid during the summer. You don't want to be there. It's after 1 a.m. So many people call bullshit calls. Shots fired. It's fireworks. I get the frustration. But so far, he's being a little condescending, but he's not being unprofessional. Based on the totality of his demeanor, there's nothing. He's not afraid of anything. There is nothing that is putting him, his spidey sense isn't going off. There's nothing wrong. There's no crime. He doesn't have to, but now you see the common practice in most states, get the ID. It's a data collecting system, but you don't have to give it to the police. No crime was committed. People do not know they could refuse that. He's not afraid. He's in complete control.
just driver's license will do, and then I'll get out of your hair.
I want to show y'all my paperwork.
I will get your paperwork.
What paperwork?
Okay. I got some paperwork.
Well, just get your ID.
Well, let's get your ID first, and then
one task at a time here.
Okay.
Again, 2 cops, 2. Only one should be talking. That's a tactic for the police to look at.
Here, grab your ID for me.
Okay.
Your ID. One task at a time. So let's do an ID, and then you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID is.
is it in that stack right there, maybe?
Okay. 1 second.
Just check on her.
Let me get this.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right.
Okay, so they got the stove. You can see gets up. Now, He is perfectly fine with observing because he just observes there's a fire and a pot of boiling water on the stove. He's aware of it. Officer-induced jeopardy. Why would you send someone to take the magazine and the chambered round out of a gun if you're investigating them? That's what he's claiming he's doing, right? She's using a deadly weapon at him. Well, why would you have her get up and go turn the stove off if that's the weapon you believe was going to be used against you? I'm going to argue that Grayson purposefully put himself in this position to shoot her because he wanted to.
And you can dig around for your paperwork.
I don't know where my ID is.
You just in that stack right there, maybe?
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
No, we don't need a fire while we're here.
Right.
All right, so we have the speeding car. There's Grayson. Here's a car coming right at me. I'm going to shoot the driver. The car's going to go into a building and kill a bunch of people. Well, I had to stop the car. Why did Grayson, who is in fear for his safety, right, self-defense, why did he give Massey access to the weapon unless it wasn't a South Park episode? This is how we get around shooting endangered species. They're coming right for us. They're coming right for us. Let's continue.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
Rebuke you in the name of
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Okay, we all know how that went. That was clearly first-degree murder. I have no idea how the prosecution failed, and I have no idea how the jury got this wrong. But let's back up again for those who need clarification. Now, first things first, for those who are wondering, no. In this circumstance, this pot of boiling water is not a deadly weapon. And it's due for one reason: the distance and the possibility of exit routes that Grayson had. Okay? If the roles are reversed and Grayson was a small female officer and he was near the pot of boiling water, and Massey was a large white woman or large white man and grabbed Grayson by the back of the neck and was forcing his face into the pot of boiling water, then it's a deadly weapon. Then you could justify shooting. But many different things. As we see in this video, when she gets up, you immediately see the backup officer. What does he do when she grabs a pot of boiling water? He understands, I'm going to turn and find an exit route. Grayson had that same opportunity. You've got one room for the cop to go into, the backup officer. The other one, Grayson could have gone out the front door. You have no duty or obligation to stay and engage. End of story. But what did Grayson do? He advanced on a threat. Tactically, that's not a bad thing. There are many times that if somebody has a knife sheathed in their waistband and their hands are up, and you say, don't reach for that knife, and you're within proximity, and they go to reach for the knife, yes, lawfully you could shoot them because they're showing their intent, right? They're showing their intent, and you want to defeat the action before it happens because you're not going to be stabbed. The same argument could be, well, what is you wanted her to throw the boiling pot of water on him? Circumstances dictate tactics. If we're looking at defending Grayson, he has no defense. He was able to back up, gain distance. He was able to leave the house immediately. He didn't have to defend death or great bodily harm of another cop. He didn't even notice the other cop. The other cop moved out of the way, moved into another room. There was no justifiable reason to engage on Massey because she wasn't a threat to Grayson. She wasn't a threat to the other officers, so self-defense doesn't exist. This was a willful choice to step forward, close that distance, and fire on Massey.
You in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
You in the name of
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
You better fucking not. I swear to fucking God, I'm going to shoot you in your fucking face. That's intent. That's intent. And I'm going to come back to that. That's the Grady Judd effect that you cops out there are going to have to learn and understand. Now, language is fine in law enforcement. Drop the fucking knife. Why'd you use the word F? Because it's the only one you understood. That's not the issue. The issue is intent. He stated his intent. I told you, when it comes down to shooting, using your pistol, which is deadly force, it's force necessary to terminate life-threatening behavior. If we can articulate that Massey's behavior is life-threatening, she has a pot of boiling water. No, personally, I do not believe in any way, shape, or form a pot of water launched by a woman of her stature and her height would have the velocity and the mass to hit a target and do any damage. It would dissipate in the air. He would get an owie, that's it. So number one, there's no terminating of the life-threatening behavior. If there was, however, the goal is to stop Massey from her behavior. You don't wait for her to launch back and get the mass of her legs underneath her to project that forward. If she's got it and you have all the lawful authority to shoot her to terminate life-threatening behavior, you don't wait. She's got it. You put the rounds downrange into her with the intent and the hopes that it stops her behavior. It terminates her behavior. That's why you get mag dumps, right? Well, you dump the magazine because we're hoping 13 rounds into somebody gets their body to shut off the motor mechanics, the electric signals from the brain going into the hand that has them doing the action that is causing someone else the harm or death. You lose all of that with, I swear to fucking God, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking face. Because there's only one result, shooting someone in the face. Based on how many rounds you put down, based on the caliber of the gun, you're looking at complete severance of the brain from the brain stem, which will send all life function to the body, and instant death will occur. So that statement alone, which could be a threat, I will shoot you in the fucking face, you hope somebody would stop their behavior just on that threat. That threat does also show intent. My intent was not to terminate life-threatening behavior. My intent was to kill them.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
19 shots fired.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Drop the fucking pot!
So we have to start putting all those things in the prosecution and the defense of Grayson. Did he have justifiable justification to be on the scene? He was called there. He was called there. You can articulate, because it happens every single day in America. Cops will extend. They're always looking for something. And the argument is always, well, even though you think it's bullshit that I pulled that car over because the tires touched the divided yellow line, and that's a law. You can't touch the divided yellow line. I pulled them over. I found the 6-year-old girl that was duct taped in the trunk, and I'm a hero because of it. I get it. I can see both sides, and a lot of times the public doesn't understand it. If it wasn't for pulling over for circumstantial crimes in order to look for the true offense that a cop is looking for, we wouldn't have certain types of real busts, but it's always a crapshoot, right? The justification. I go to Massey's home. She calls about noise. There's a car there that wasn't hers. Man, I find 100 pounds of coke in her bedroom, and we find out this is the central distribution from coke and fentanyl and everything else in the state of Illinois. Oh my God, Grayson's a hero. That's how it goes. With that also comes the desire of cops to use force, and anybody who says otherwise, you wouldn't have taken the job if you didn't have the ability to carry a gun. It's how it goes. So in this, the totality of the video I saw, and based on the statutes of what Illinois says, no, I do not believe that the jury even remotely got it right saying that Grayson was acting in self-defense. Not when he had every possible route to leave the scene, and he personally extended the stay of the investigation as if he was looking for a reason out of boredom, out of demand of pressures for department performance evaluations, that he had to get a certain amount of points for the night, and he was lacking from 2 weeks prior. Out of whatever the case is, Grayson put himself in that circumstance to shoot and kill Massey. You cannot argue second-degree murder or any type of self-defense. Now, make no mistake, I'm neither conservative or liberal, but I'm going to repeat the exact same words that my first police commander, Laycock, told me when he handed me my firearm. The very first time I've ever held a gun, I was on the roof of the Round Lake Beach Police Station in my first apartment. We were doing pistol draws. I had a Glock Model 21, 45 caliber. We were trying to break in the leather of the level 3 holster that I had. You know, snap 1, snap 2, rock back, pull up. And we had to do that over and over again. And Laycock tells me shooting people is a good thing when they need to be shot. And at the time, before all that training, I didn't understand it. And let me clarify this very well. I love violence. I 100% do. I love violent movies. I've been a wrestler, martial arts teacher, wrestling coach, firearms aficionado. I love violence. I'm a red-blooded American who loves guns, loves shit. I love beating people up, all that crap. Not when you're in a position to use it on someone if it's a part of your job. In law enforcement, my stance has always been this: shooting people is a necessary part of law enforcement when it is justified and it is righteous. But we have this thing in America lately. We have sheriffs who love to go online, and they love the flash and the adrenaline rush of a social media crowd that puts them at a level of stardom that they've never had before. Sure, they got elected 20 times to serve in the same city or village or county, and they love it. But this social media dopamine phenomenon is something that is immeasurable, that is going to be the downfall of a society. I'm extremely critical of Grady Judd. Extremely critical, because he doesn't realize what his words are saying. Many of you have seen this clip. Many of you have not seen this clip. I'm going to play this clip. We need to have a discussion how this Grady Judd effect is going to have a massive impact on shootings going forward.
You can shot him 6 or 8 times. And then you guys shot this guy 68 times. And when the media asked you, why shoot him 68 times? Your answer was, we ran out of bullets. We would have shot him more. Where does that come from?
Well, it comes from the heart, and it comes from the soul, and it comes from what the overwhelming majority of the people are thinking. This guy shot and killed our canine, shot and killed our canine handler, shot the backup deputy, then took the dead canine handler's firearm, ran into the woods. City police came to back us up, shot at 2 of them and happened to miss them. Well, the next day, we had the area surrounded. The next morning, when we had daylight, we had a SWAT team walk shoulder to shoulder through this wooded area in order to find him. Mm-hmm. Well, he pointed the dead deputy's gun at a SWAT team. What do you think's going to happen? Mm-hmm. You're going to get shot a lot. You're going to get shot so much you can read the Sunday New York Times through you. And that's what happened.
Patrick Bet-David's laugh at that is exactly what the issue is. Now, listen, none of what Judd said was wrong. It's how it is said, because he exactly coined what the public thinks. The public, who is ignorant, doesn't know what law enforcement defensive tactics are, or use of force, or deadly force is. Judd has fallen into the giant punch bowl of narcissism and has forgotten about his job. He doesn't go on the calls anymore. He hasn't pulled over a car in decades. He doesn't do the work, but he loves the limelight. And his deputies are going to wind up being crucified for it. Listen carefully. This is not his first position on this. It is sadly the position of now chiefs and sheriffs who are elected who are enjoying social media. You can't celebrate killing someone. You have to have the responsibility of being somebody who has that gold star and goes in front of the media and said, yes, hey, guess what? The subject who shot and killed a couple of our deputies, police canine, shot at somebody else, took the deputy's gun, we manhunted him, all this. That person still, as much as you hate it, has due process. We love the Constitution so much in the state of Florida, in the county of Polk, that as much as it disgusts you, the public, and you want to see us execute this person on site for their crimes, we have more integrity and believe in the Constitution so much farther than that we use the right amount of force to get the job done, which was to take him into custody or to terminate life-threatening behavior. In other words, he was shot 68 times because that was necessary to terminate his life-threatening behavior. When you start to act like an asshole on camera, you're now taking away your deputies and your officers' perception of being terrified for their safety. How? If America's sheriff and others are getting involved in this, how can any cop ever truly say that they're afraid for their safety when their favorite blue check mark, who happens to be in law enforcement and represents the person they want to work under, condones and expects them to kill people because that's just what we do now, and it comes from the heart? And it's not as if you can argue, well, that came out after the Massey shooting, his statement, because that has been Judd's position for quite a while. This was 2 years ago, before the Massey shooting.
His equipment that's bloody from being shot. As you can well imagine, when you start shooting at a SWAT team, it doesn't end up well. And we shot Raymond Martinez a lot. We killed him graveyard dead. We gave him exactly what he asked for after negotiating and trying to de-escalate him for hours. He was shot and killed in an orange grove in Polk County because he asked for it and we gave it to him. We're not going to allow him to shoot at anyone, certainly not our deputies or the Highlands County deputies, without us taking the appropriate action.
You guys make it hard to defend good cops for using force, for taking life when it's lawfully necessary, when you celebrate it. Again, I understand it. I understand the behind the closed doors high five, and I understand the adrenaline dump. I understand the thrill of it. I don't understand the person whose finger hasn't been on the trigger, the person who hasn't been in the manhunt, the person who hasn't been on scene, celebrating what the job of the other officers had to do. Those who actually took the life of the person, there's only one of two ways it goes, right? They're either going to savagely love it, they're going to be just enjoying it, which can't do anything about it, or they're going to be the people out there who have to live with it while you're celebrating it at the podium, trying to figure out with their terms how it was a part of their job. It's just not something they ever thought they would do. They're in the position and they're not happy about it. But you're celebrating it as at a mic, and you're condoning other cops who are now coming in the profession. That's what my job is. My job is to be a dog, find a bone, and fuck that bone.
And safe. And the people of this community and these law enforcement officers come first. I meant every word of it then, and I mean every word of it now. If you surrender peacefully, that's the way we prefer it. You start pointing guns at us, you can not only plan on, but you can guarantee we're going to shoot you.
That's 10 years ago when he actually had some class and he understood what he was saying, and his rhetoric only got more inflamed because social media, it fuels into the narcissism. His words are going to affect a younger generation of cops who cannot think for themselves. So of course, that's going to duplicate people who see the spotlight, see the attention, and want it. Again, shooting people is a necessary part of the job that nobody should fucking celebrate. It's the same thing as writing a traffic ticket. It's necessary. Same thing as putting the cuffs on. It's necessary. Same thing as showing up and babysitting some snot-nosed brat while their parents are looking for, whatever the case is. I don't care how mundane part of the job is. You don't celebrate it. You don't. It's part of your job. It's what you signed up to do. It's what you get paid for. It doesn't mean you don't feel it. You don't celebrate it. And when brain dead, backwater hillbilly morons like this just have to jump up and drive the gravy train of celebrity on social media, you know we're fucked as a society.
You resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at. because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play.
It's astonishing that a man this lacking intelligence, this is mob rule, this is democracy, this is not constitutional republic, because the citizens are so bloodthirsty for this in his state. This is what it is. This is what it's become. Sadly, we have far too many unintelligent, stupid police officers on the street who are feeding into this. I would play this. If I'm a criminal prosecutor and I have the balls to go after cops for shooting, I'm playing this at every fucking shooting, and I'm going to say, or every trial, I'm going to ask the officer first, do you know who this man is? And I'm going to see how many officers say, oh yeah, that's Sheriff for so-and-so from this county. Good. Have you seen this video? And I'm going to play it, and I'm going to have the jury pick up on the reaction of the officer as they're on the stand to see if there's a smirk, see if there's a smile. Because then you're going to say, there's no way you were terrified for your safety. There's no way that you felt threatened. There's no way you did everything you had to do in order to eliminate the threat. These leaders are dangerous, and they're muddying the waters of righteous prosecution, but more so righteous defense of police officers. This is the problem I have. Every good cop out there that is being put in a position to use force, these stupid men who are in love with their own images on the camera, they're putting your profession and your career in tremendous amounts of danger. And this, Sheriff Marcino, Lee County, this made the news. These are his own words.
Jumpsuits are red. Justice is sweet. Commit a crime in Lee County and your ass will get beat.
How is that allowed? I don't understand that, again. And he was very heavily criticized, myself included. This is what happens when you give little-minded men a microphone and the ability to spout off their feelings and opinions when they're serving in public, and they don't do the work. None of these men do the work. They sit behind a desk or in front of a camera while their deputies take all the risks. Their deputies are the one who are going hands-on. Their sheriff's deputies are the ones who are getting in the fights, getting in the gunfires, getting in the pursuits, not these men. They're sitting at the very top of a pyramid, which shields them from all responsibility as long as they produce very fun content online that will get them reelected the following year. It's a shame. It's vile. It's against the Constitution in my views, and they are absolutely dishonoring both their oath, the badge, and the profession. Bottom line, I don't think justice was served for Sonya Massey, and I think you have a police officer who did have intent. He had intent. There was no self-defense, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He had in his mind the end result of what his actions would to determine, and that was the death of Sonya Massey. It's what he wanted to do, and he did it. And the jury came back with the wrong verdict in my eyes. It should have been first-degree murder, but again, this is where we're at right now. As far as everything else goes, I think every cop in America really needs to have a heart-to-heart with themselves and be willing and ready to, God forbid, use their firearm if necessary, justify it, never fucking celebrate it, and condemn the mouthy actions of their heroes like Grady Judd or that Lee County fucking clown of a sheriff. Anyone else out there who is not going to be in your shoes at the time where you wind up serving that call 2 o'clock in the morning in whatever town you're in, but that's going to come across their desk, or when their phone comes off and goes off and they have to respond to cover their asses and hang you out to dry, they're not the ones that are doing it. So when you shoot, when you have to use your firearm, use it righteously, lawfully, know why you use it, even in that time span of what is faster than the speed of thought that you have to react, that the public condemns you for and criticizes you for and judges you for, and will never understand why you had to use it. But for right now, I truly think that in America, it's about to get a whole hell of a lot worse for cops, use of force, and especially when they have to use their firearms on duty because of this particular call and what it did open up for the floodgates of criminal pursuit and holding cops accountable in America. So be safe out there. Know why you're doing something lawfully. Maybe it's time for you to leave the job if you're not mentally prepared for it. Maybe it's time for you to not get in the job if you aren't prepared for it. And for those of you who are doing it, do it safe. Do it safe, and my God, do it lawfully. That's all I could say. If you're new to this channel and you believe in holding police accountable and you believe in righteous policing, comment below, subscribe, be safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.